I'm Jimmy Leslie, and I'm the resident artist for Liquitex Artist Materials. Varnishing is a really important topic. You want to protect your paintings from dirt, dust, and abrasion. And Liquitex has two different varnishes, or two different varnish families, I should say, that will help you do that. We've got our permanent varnish over here, and we've got our removable varnish here. And I want to talk about the differences, but first a similarity. Both of them come in a spray version, and both of them also come in a brush-on version. I tend to like the spray version if I have a bigger surface area to cover. It can tend to be a little bit easier maybe for large-scale works or murals. They also come in different finishes, different sheens. So the permanent comes in a matte, satin, and gloss, while the Soluvar, which is our removable, comes in matte, satin, gloss, and high gloss. And I should explain that name. Soluvar is a solvent-based varnish, so that's where that name comes from. And it can be removed with mineral spirits. So if something should happen to that surface layer of varnish, maybe there's a scratch in it, you're moving it, something happens, you can remove it with the mineral spirits and put a new coat on there. The other version we have here, our permanent version, is water-based, and you cannot remove it from the surface, but people like to use the water-based one sometimes because it's extremely low odor, so that's something you want to consider. If you're using the permanent varnish, that's for an acrylic painting surface only, and you want to allow 3 to 5 days, maybe even a week, depending on the thickness of your paint layer, before you put the permanent varnish on there. For the Soluvar, you can go over acrylic, so it would still apply that same time period, but it can also go over oil paintings. For oils, very, very important, 6 to 12 months, depending on the thickness of your painting. I know that seems like a long time, and it's something that I find a lot of times people rush, and that's a mistake. You do not want to seal the painting off from getting the air. It needs to oxidize and really lock itself in place. So very, very important when you're choosing to work on an oil painting. Think about that time period. Give it some time. For application, varnishing can be a bit difficult. It's not something I think you should rush. I think you should use some old paintings maybe that are not precious to you. Try your varnishing on those. Don't do it on that painting that you love, that one that's about to go on a show if you've never varnished before. Don't do it then. You're asking yourself for headaches. So practice is something that's really important. But we have great tips to help you learn how to varnish better. What I would suggest is go to liquitex.com, and when you go there, click on the Resources tab at the top of the page, and that will lead you to the acrylic literature section. And in there you can download our acrylic book. The acrylic book covers all sorts of awesome tips about using our acrylic paints, and there's a section in there that really goes over very thoroughly how to varnish, and I strongly suggest you use that. I love it. I suggest it to so many people. It just makes it much more simple. So again, check out more tips on varnishing at liquitex.com.